Hey everyone. Okay, so this chapter definitely puts a lot of pieces into play, so to speak, as we have Oda teasing us with Sanji gaining Conqueror's Haki, potentially, and an all too perfect setup of Loki getting blasted by Emu over to where the other Straw Hats are, trying to save Shuri from her encased prison. And yeah, with Ragnar also being dragged along with him, what do I even need to say? Everything that's been theorized and confirmed by Oda himself when it comes to Usopp is about to become reality. Like our long-nosed boy is going to wield Ragnar in some way or another. Like it can't get any more blatant than that. Like the only question is for what purpose now, because supposedly Ragnar has already melted the prison encasing Shuri, unless it only blasted off the top half, and another swing is needed to fully free her. Again, looking at the pieces as presented, that seems to be what Oda's setting up here. Which, yeah, if there was ever a reason for Usopp to be wielding a giant hammer, this would be the best case scenario to do it. I think the only question we all have now, though, is if this will be the only time we see it happen, or if we'll see Usopp wield it again against Emu. And for that, I'm not ruling out the possibility, but with the caveat that for me, it would need to be Usopp and Loki working together. Like no matter the context, that there's no way I see Usopp facing Emu and doing significant damage alone, even with Ragnar's help. Like it needs to be a tag team, which means Loki back up on his feet for me. But all right, let's talk about the big thing with this chapter, though, which is Oda teasing us with Sanji potentially unlocking Conqueror's Haki. And I do like how Oda is leaning into the psychological element of Sanji's character in order to build upon that, what he needs to do in order to awaken that power. And I do like how it does build upon something we've kind of known all too well about Sanji up to this point, which is that no matter how strong he gets, no matter how strong he gets, no matter what emotional hurdles he overcomes, there is always that one thing about Sanji where it feels like he's intentionally kind of restraining himself, whether out of personal trauma or the fear of unintentionally hurting those he cares about. And for me, while those are understandable concerns given his upbringing, Sanji does need to understand that if he wants to be one of the wings that carries Luffy to the end of this journey, like one of the wings of the Pirate King, then he needs to realize he can't have any doubts, regrets, or anything in between clouding his mind. And honestly, as much as I love the setup for this, with Sanji like needing to overcome this. Honestly, it does also highlight a small critique I do have with Oda's writing with Sanji, which is that honestly, I'm actually surprised it took Sanji this long to learn this lesson. Like, bare minimum, it should have been something that clicked with him after the whole cake incident, but I guess the whole thing with Queen also kind of drudged up those old feelings. So only now is he being given the opportunity to actually think about this stuff with a clear conscience on his mind. So I guess what I'm saying is that the journey to get there was a little rocky, but at least Sanji is actually thinking about the steps of what he needs to do in order to actually get to the next level, in order to become the actual left wing of the Pirate King that's going to help Luffy like make it to the end of this journey. So like it's the journey a little wonky to get there, but I still like how Oda's playing this. Like yeah, if Sanji really wants to obtain Conqueror's Haki, he needs to have a very clear mind. He needs to have the clearest mind imaginable about what he wants and what he needs to do. On a smaller note, though, I do love the moment between Zoro and Summers where Zoro says killing him is not making it out of that fight alive. Like it's a moment we've seen many times before, showing that for as much as they bicker, Zoro and Sanji genuinely respect each other. But in this particular moment, I like how there's that added layer of I trust him to watch my back kind of vibe with how the battle lines are drawn. And yeah, Zoro, if you could just cut Summers into tiny chunks of human meat that can't talk anymore, that would be amazing. Like, again, I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Summers is reaching like Spondum levels of annoying to the point where I'm like, please, someone just take this fucker out already, please. I don't want to look at this guy anymore. Uh, Now, admittedly, even though I brought up one problem, if I did have one major problem with this chapter, and it's that and I guess the back half of this arc as a whole, it's that so many more interesting things are being set up right now that the whole fight with Emu does feel like the biggest drag on the pacing so far. Like, don't get me wrong, I know that once all these smaller fights are smaller, more personal fights are resolved, it's all going to coalesce back around to Emu. But for now, Emu's fight with Luffy is kind of the least interesting of the bunch. Although I will caveat that by saying the final moment of the chapter with Luffy yelling at Emu to stop calling him those different names and proclaiming he'll be the Pirate King is one of those small moments where the way it's presented, the way it's like, the way it's laid out, it feels like another like crumb that Oda's feeding us towards showing us Emu's full backstory whenever Oda said to drop it. Like, it's, again, I could be wrong on that, but it does feel like a little bit of another piece of that puzzle, so to speak, that he's dropping on us. Like, yeah, this is what's gonna happen when I'm building up to eventually showing you guys the backstory. And yeah, I will be curious, like, what exact. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I am definitely curious as to what that backstory is even going to look like. Like, I can't say I'm I can't say that I'm like extremely like Emu's kind of one of those characters where I can't say I'm extremely excited to know everything about the guy, but simultaneously I'm still curious about what the implications would be towards like the world and how it came to be and whatnot. So yeah. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe from in Blue Sky, Analyst Crunchyroll. Be sure to notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and share it around, guys. Dark Knight Divinity signing off. Later, everyone.